To East Hampton Town Board, we are live.
Thank you, LTV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the East Hampton Town Board meeting of Thursday, June 5th, 2025. Carol, if you could please read the roll call.
Present. Present.
Present.
Present.
Present. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this evening, we have the swearing in of 6 East Hampton Town police officers, which we're very excited, and we thank you all for joining us tonight. That will be followed by 7 public hearings, public portion, and then town board resolutions. Before we start, we're going to hear from our town historian, Hugh King. Welcome, Hugh.
Thank you for inviting all these people to hear me speak. Okay.
It's standing room only for Hugh tonight.
I want to report, as town historian, I went to a very important history conference at the Clam Bar. Children, hold your ears. This was sponsored by the Piss Clam Bunch, which is another name for steamers, okay? And we spent 2 hours eating clams, oysters, and other seafood delights. The participants were former Councilman Dick White, former East Hampton Town Policeman Charlie Marisi, Herb from Herb's Market, and 2 former police chiefs, Tom Scott and Eddie Ecker. There was so much lying going on, I don't know much history that I learned at all at this thing. All right, that's not why I'm here. On June 13th, 1942, Nazi saboteurs landed on the beach in Amagansett. Well, what does the Nazi saboteur landing have to do with J. Edgar Hoover, or Frank Eck and the Elm Tree Tavern, or the East Hampton Star, or John Cullen, or Ira Baker and the Amagansett train station, or Carl Jeanette, or George Don Dash, or Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or President Harry Truman? Well, using documents that have been kept under wraps by the FBI for over 30 years, the reenactment will tell you the untold story using these FBI boxes, which include testimonials, letters, trial summations, newspaper accounts, presidential edicts, FBI secret files, and other, which will alter and illuminate the story. Thanks to Jeannie Henderson with a help of Isabel Carmichael, you will be there. That's Friday, June 13th at the Amagansett Life Station Statement at 6 p.m. Be there or be square. Have a good one.
Thank you. So I want to begin by thanking our officers for their service and by recognizing the families and friends who are here tonight. Your support makes a real difference, and it reminds us that no one serves alone. East Hampton is a strong and caring community, and nights like this show us why. Because behind every promotion is not just an individual's effort, but the people and values that lift them up. So now we're going to move on to the swearing-in ceremony. Chief, did you want to do an introduction?
I can't really say it better than you just did, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your meeting to let us recognize these outstanding officers for their accomplishments and their promotions to supervisory positions. I too echo your sentiments in thanking the families. This profession is a calling to service, and it requires a strong support network behind you. The nights, the weekends, the holidays, the on-call, the regular stressors of what we see from day to day require a support system, and none of us could do what we do without the families we have behind us. I thank you all for turning out here to support them tonight, and I truly congratulate and thank each of these officers for stepping up for the department and for the community they serve.
Thank you, Chief. So first, we're going to call up Captain Gregory Martin.
Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
police captain
police captain
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Greg, you gotta go sign the book.
Oh, yep.
Next, I'd like to call up Lieutenant Kenneth Alversa.
I state your name.
I, Kenneth Alversa,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and faithfully discharge the duties of
and faithfully discharge the duties of
Police Lieutenant
Police Lieutenant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Now I'd like to call up Detective Sergeant Frank Sokolowski.
I state your name.
I, Frank Sokolowski,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of
and faithfully discharge the duties of Detective Sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
And now I'd like to call up Sergeant Andrew Nimmo.
I state your name.
I, Andrew Nimmo,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Sergeant
Police Sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
And now I'd like to call up Sergeant Patrick Royal.
Last one has to have it memorized.
Because there's a test at the end.
I state your name.
I, Patrick Royal,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
faithfully discharge the duties of
and faithfully discharge the duties of Police Sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Now Detective Brett Hurley. Bless you.
I state your name.
I, Brett Hurley,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that
swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and faithfully discharge the duties of
and faithfully discharge the duties of detective
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
We'll be moving outside to the outside building and the gardens to take photos with all the recently sworn in and promoted officers. So we can let them have the meeting space back.
Yeah.
Again, I really want to thank you all for taking the time out of your meeting and to publicly recognize how much hard work and dedication and commitment goes into these officers becoming the next generation and next wave of leadership for our police department. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to take a minute. Yeah. Thank you.
They're doing a meeting.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Everyone was really pumped about that management plan.
All right, I think we're going to get started.
That's such an audience for Scott.
Carol, if you could please read the first meeting notice.
Public hearings will be held live and in person by the town board and will be available electronically by video and teleconferencing and will be televised on local TV channel 22 and available for live stream on the LTV website. The public shall be permitted to appear in person but may also provide comments on the matter by being heard by calling 351-888-6331. Any person or party wishing to be heard with respect to the foregoing may do so in person or by agent or by attorney, by teleconference to the live meeting, or by written comment addressed to the East Hampton Town Clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton. Comments may also be submitted to the town clerk by email to cbrennan@ehamptonny.gov. All comments must be received by the town clerk by the date and time of the public hearing. Please check the meeting agenda posted on the town's website for any changes and for updated information. Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on Thursday, June 5th, 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard, to consider comments of all persons on the proposed draft management plan for the Parsons Dodge Homestead located at 803 and 807 Fireplace Road, Suffolk County, tax map 363-4-2, 3, 4, and 5. The full text of the management plan is available for inspection on the town's website or at the town clerk's office.
Thank you, Carol. Scott, you want to do an introduction of the
Sure, a
management
quick
plan?
one. So I'm here to talk about the Parsons Dodge Homestead Draft Management Plan. The town acquired this 11-acre property located on 803 and 807 Fireplace Road for historic, open space, agricultural, and recreational purposes. The town also dedicated this property an historic landmark, the Julius D. Parsons Homestead, on June 6, 2023. Just a quick quote from that resolution. The Dodge property has the characteristics specified in 255-7-25A of the town code. The homestead, containing the 1880 main house and barn and purportedly Henry Mitchell home that was moved to this property, along with the family cemetery and significant farm acreage, makes this an exceptional property for recalling the agrarian history of Springs. This property possesses special character, historic and aesthetic interest, and value as part of the cultural, economic, and social history of East Hampton and embodies the distinguishing characteristics of building types, periods, and methods of construction. The Dodge property and its structures therefore qualifies for designation as an historic landmark. This management plan, like all our plans, follows a basic guideline, including an introduction, description of the site, access and parking, general management goals and objectives, recommended improvements, permitted uses, and restrictions. Each plan also contains supporting documents such as photos, resolution to acquire, a survey, and in this case, a report by Robert Hefner's historic preservation report and the Edwards Cemetery report. The information becomes a valuable guide for future management of a property. The primary concepts, plans, and intentions are found in the management goals and objectives section of each plan. The plan notes that there are a number of structures and distinct areas on the property, each having been identified in the plan, each allowing the town board a broad range of uses and some flexibility. There's a cottage, a barn, house, vacant adjacent acre, forest land in the rear of the property, and the Edward Cemetery. Why flexibility? Post-adoption of the management plan, the town plans to introduce a request for proposals to the community as we are eager to hear plans and ideas for the use of the property. That date's to be determined when we put out the RFP. Therefore, the plan contemplates one or more licensees or working with a farmer, a 501c3, contemplates a woodland or multi-use path. It also contemplates some shared parking with other historic properties, namely the Springs Library, the Blacksmith Shop, Ashwa Hall, and Springs Church. As a former farmstead, often the backbone of many small communities, this unique property lends itself to any and all of these purposes or a combination thereof, hence flexibility. Let's see, the draft plan was available on the town's website. Ian actually presented this initially at the town board work session on April 15th. And I don't know, Ian, did you want to add a little to that background? Or did you want to go through the plan in any way?
Nope, I think you did great. Thank you.
Okay. I haven't had any public comment, so the form that you have it now is the form that was presented at the work session.
Terrific. Thank you, Scott. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on this Prudence?
Yay.
Welcome, Prudence.
Thank you. This is not actually why I came, but I do want to say that I worked with the family, with both boys. I think of them as boys, who I went to school with. And one day, Brian and I went down to clean out the barn. We may have been the last people to walk in the barn unless Scott went in there, I don't know. But up in the back of a hay mow, in the back of the barn, where Brian had to climb up a ladder with me screaming at him because the ladder was rickety, he came down with 6 large books. And they smelled bad, but we put them in the back of Brian's truck and we took them to the farm museum, knowing very well the farm museum was not the right place for these, but the boys, were under some duress getting the property cleaned out, and we took them with their permission. About 6 months later, Dr. Allison McGovern, our archaeologist, looked at the books and said, basically, oh my God, 1785 documents for ledgers for everything that anybody in East Hampton ever bought or sold. All these books. So at that point, I took them to the East Hampton Library, knowing that they have access to Gardner funds and we do not because of CPF. We are CPF property. We can't get Gardner funds. And knowing that the books needed to be at least cleaned up and preserved professionally so that people like Allison could look at them and other people could look at them. So luckily, Dennis at the library said, I'll get a grant from the Gardner Foundation and fix these books up for you, but you need to keep them in your name, which they are still in my name. And that process de-urinated them and cleaned them up so that other people can look at them safely. They are ledgers starting from 1785 with every chit and every purchase from the 1770 house store, not from the Springs store. Now, this is where all the families, as Scott knows, in Springs come into play, because Mary Louise Dodge was originally, as you know, in Edwards Parsons. There were some Talmadges wound up in there too. And apparently somebody said, when they closed the 1770 house store, what are we going to do with these ledgers? And somebody said, oh, give them to Mary Louise, she'll put them in the barn. Well, that's apparently what she did. And now they are out of the barn and they are in permanent repository in the East Hampton Library. and will be shown at some point to the public at large as documents of every servant, slave, and property owner in East Hampton who bought anything at the 1770 House store. They are quite unique. And I'm glad my husband had the courage to go up the ladder and drag them down. I'm glad that Mary Louise's sons, in their rush, said, go ahead, take them. And, we were thinking they were Spring store documents, but they're East Hampton. And they're very, very precious, and they've now being well taken care of. And they will eventually, which you probably know more than I do about this, when there is more room available for the library to display things. And they will be a pride of place in East Hampton, showing every resident and what they bought all through the years 1785 through 1890. So I feel I've done my little piece for the Mary Louise Dodge property by saving those and getting them in proper condition. And I think at some point they will make you very proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence.
For the record, nobody else is allowed to climb that ladder I've seen.
No, they put a bolt on the door now. So
Jason, is there anyone on the line?
Yes, we have one caller on the line. Give me one moment. Hello, caller ending 3244.
Yes, hello, hi. I was waiting for. Yeah, good evening. Martin Drew, Springs. Just want to say I always support the work that Scott Wilson does for the town of East Hampton. So good to see he's on another heartwarming project in our area. I just want to show some pat. So good work, Scott. Keep it up.
And do you want to speak
Thank
on?
you, Martin.
Are you going to speak on any of the other public hearings?
I don't know. I'm going to listen to them. So yeah, I'm going to hang in there. Yep.
All right, cool.
Waiting for the public comment portion, but I'm going to participate.
All right,
Yes,
fair
indeed.
enough. Thank you. Okay, that's what we got.
So is that's the only caller?
Yep.
Motion to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could read the next meeting notice, please.
Please take notice that the town board hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held on June 5th at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard at East Hampton Town Hall to hear any and all persons either for or against the local law providing for the amendment of the East Hampton Town Code, Chapter 91, Beaches and Parks, Section 4, prohibited conduct to prohibit foot travel over the town's dune systems outside of designated footpaths and appropriate crossover structures.
Thank you, Carol. Jason, is there anyone on the line?
Yes, I'll unmute them right now. All right, unmuting you again, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. I support all the work we do in protecting our beaches. So that's great news to hear. So good work. We want to protect the access to our beaches for sure.
Thank you, Martin.
We have no other callers.
Great, thank you.
Motion to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could read, so the third hearing notice we are going to pull as it was not noticed properly. So the one that's listed as number 4, if you could read that meeting notice, please.
So is that the wireless one or the
No,
outdoor dining?
We're skipping the wireless one. Personal wireless facilities is being pulled.
Okay, thank you.
And
Number
we're going to
3
read
on
the one on the extended pilot program for outdoor dining.
Perfect.
Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on Thursday, June 5th, or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard, to consider comments of all persons with regard to a proposed local law entitled, "A Local Law Amending Chapter 255 Zoning, Article 11, Uses and Dimensions to add outdoor dining at restaurants, providing for an administrative permit for the transfer of indoor restaurant dining seating to outdoor seating," an abstract of which follows. A local law to extend the pilot program to provide for an administrative permit to be issued by the planning department to allow for the transfer of legally existing restaurant and takeout food store seating from the interior restaurant area to outdoor areas on a restaurant property or upon adjoining property subject to certain conditions and limitations. Adjoining property proposed to be used for outdoor dining must be zoned to allow for restaurant use or to allow for such special permit.
Thank you, Carol. Jason, is there anyone on the line that would like to speak to this public hearing?
I'll go check right now. All right, and hello, caller ending 3244. You're on the air.
Hi, Martin Drew, Springs again. What a nice topic. That's the reason I'm calling in, is about this outdoor dining stuff that's in our area, particularly at Rita Cantina, where they're operating, I guess, in that function without a C of O in place. So that's going to be part of my public comments that I was waiting for. But I guess I kind of was disconnected, so I lost the first part of that explanation of the law. What is this law pertaining to exactly?
It's an extension of our, extension of our pilot program for outdoor dining.
Well, I got to tell you that I would be opposed to that, because apparently you're not staying on top of it, especially in the situation in our area where you allowed a business to expand without proper parking for the restaurant itself, and then you're going to allow expansion for outside dining. It just doesn't seem to fit when you do the math. So I would oppose this law right now if that's the case. But anyway, I'll save my other comments for the public comments as well. No worries. But I oppose this if it's affecting people's neighborhoods the way it's affecting ours.
Okay. We have no other callers on the line.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Carol, if you could please read the 5th meeting notice.
Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing pursuant to Section 64E6 and 112(4) of the Town Law of the State of New York on June 5th at 6 p.m. in the Town Board Meeting Room, East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard, to consider the following: awarding of grant funding for a water quality improvement project. The project sponsor is the Napeague Camping Club. It's the installation of a community innovative alternative sanitary system to upgrade the existing cesspool serving the Napeague Camping Club with an existing flow of 5,700 gallons per day. So wastewater treatment improvement, and the funding award is $375,000.
Thank you, Carol. Jason, is there anyone on the line that would like to address this public hearing?
Unmuting the now. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're on the air.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I would support that project. Of course, we need to help our campers out to have a proper sanitary area for themselves. So if you guys are spending money on that, money well spent. I support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
We have no other callers.
Motion to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
This, if you could please read the 6th meeting notice, Carol.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on June 5th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard, concerning the following grant of scenic and conservation easement to the Town of East Hampton. The grantor is the Dina L. Zanger. As trustee of the Dina L. Zanger Revocable Trust, it's a scenic and conservation easement dated April 21st at 2 Mulford Avenue in East Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 300-136-126.1, URP number 61, and UR Map EH2A, and the reviewing agency is the Town Board.
Thank you, Carol. Jason, is there callers on the line that would like to address this public hearing?
We currently have one caller. I'll unmute them now. Hello, caller ending 3244. You're on the air.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Martin Drew Springs again. Yeah, that's a great gift from the Zanger family. I know Dina personally. That's a wonderful gift to the town of East Hampton. Wholeheartedly support her generosity. Thank you, Dina.
We have no other callers on the line.
Thank you, Martin.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could please read the 7th meeting notice.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, June 5th, at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard concerning the filing grant of scenic and conservation easement to the Town of East Hampton. The grantor is Notaro Living Trust. It's a scenic and conservation easement dated May 6th at 3 North Surfside Avenue in Montauk, Suffolk County Tax Map 300, 5126. The reviewing agency is the ZBA.
Jason, is there anyone on the line that would like to address this public hearing?
All right, I'm unmuting them now. All right, 3244, you're on the air.
Thank you so much. Martin Drew Springs. Yeah, another generous gift from that family. We wholeheartedly support all those type of activities. So I'd like to send a big thanks out to that family. Thank you very much. Great gift to the town of East Hampton.
And we have no other callers.
Thank you, Martin.
Motion closed.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could please read the last meeting notice.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, June 5th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard concerning the filing grant of scenic and conservation easement to the Town of East Hampton. The grantor is Clifford Shapiro. It's a scenic and conservation easement dated April 24th at 8 Ocean Lane in Amagansett, Suffolk County Tax Map 300, 176, 310, and the reviewing agency is the ZBA.
Thank you. Jason, we've got a
Yep.
caller on the line.
Yes, we do. Caller ending 3244, you're back on.
Oh, hey, wow. Martin Drew, Springs. Yeah, that's another great gift to the town of East Hampton from the Shapiro family. I wholeheartedly support all this type of work and activities throughout the town. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Okay, we
Thank
have
you,
no other
Martin.
callers.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So those are all of our public hearings for tonight, and we do have a public sign-up list, and Prudence Carabine, you're back up. Welcome again, Prudence.
Thank you very much. As I spoke to you, Kathy, about a little while ago, Bruce Springsteen is making some comments about world events, and they rang bells for me. So I thought I would just repeat a couple of his sentences. In my home, the America I love has been a beacon of hope for the world for 250 years. But lately, it has been tested in ways that should concern us all. The reason this affected me so deeply is, some of you probably know well, because I'm not shy about saying it, that my middle names are Talmadge Hamilton, and that means that I have ancestors who worked with George Washington to throw the English out of East Hampton and New York and the colonies. And they did that quite effectively between the spies and the military people. I also, in 1969, married a man named Brian Patrick Carabine from County Mayo. That means we are married 56 years. Ireland didn't like the Queen and the King either, so they got rid of them. It was bloody, it was horrible, and there've been a lot of plays and poetry written about it. But if you look at last week's Star and you see my husband on the front cover, putting flags on graves of people who have died in war, you understand what these things mean to us. We had a Marine Corps son who died of a brain tumor, as David knows too well. We also had another son who managed to deal with kings quite well in the Middle East because it was his job in the Marine Corps as a major managing Marines in the Middle East. So he dealt with them. I don't have to. My husband doesn't have to. These things are deeply ingrained in both Brian and me about what's going on in this country today. Now, maybe we'll just let Elon take the whole thing down. I don't know. But right now, I think it's important for me to say, because I don't protest, I don't feel that that's a comfortable thing for me to do. And my husband stopped me in 1969 when I was going to protest the Vietnam War. And he said, wait a minute, I just got back from that. Don't protest that. So I didn't. But I think it's important to read Bruce Springsteen's message. So at the end of the day, all we have got is each other and the vote. And I'm looking forward to voting again. So I just wanted to leave that as a public statement of my feelings about what it means to serve this country and to serve it unto death. Tomorrow is D-Day anniversary. And my dad died the same day my husband proposed to me in Southampton Hospital in 1969 of injuries that he received on D-Day. Now, it's not in vogue anymore to talk about these things, I realize, but I'm talking. It's my life, it's my history, and I hope that people think very carefully about how they use their most important gift, and that is their vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence. Thank you, Prudence.
Okay, Jason, we've got a caller on the line.
Yes, we do, and I'm unmuting them now. All right, 3244, you're back on.
Oh, thank you. Martin Drew, Springs. Yeah, I wanted to address my comments as for the record. Madam Supervisor, I know you like to defer answering my questions about the situation at Maidstone Acres, also known as Rita Cantina, so maybe I should defer this to the newly appointed town attorney. And that would be Mr. Jake Turner. Mr. Jake Turner, congratulations on your new appointment, sir. And I just want to have a question and answer session about how many adjournments has the town of East Hampton agreed to let this situation linger for, it's going on 4 years now. And now that we realize they've, I guess, used up all their time in the planning process, I think they were given 18 months to get a C of O together, and they haven't. So now we ask, how are they going to continue to operate without a C of O when the C of O is required for the outdoor dining permit? And then there are the problems with, the access to our town park, the parking issues, the lack of parking on the facility, the situation that they added a residential vacant lot to the commercial footprint, and then they want to convince everyone that this was an entirely pre-existing, non-conforming situation, which it's not. And then the sad part is to know that all of our planning departments didn't focus on on-site parking for a place that has no parking and has relied on street parking for the last decade. So we wanted to bring it to your attention that it's still ongoing, and we're asking as the concerned citizens of our area that a stop work order be issued until they get their legals in order, because apparently this has gotten way out of control. So we're looking for control to happen. And while we had the police there today, I just wanted to thank the chief for all his hard work that he does, the tireless work he does for our community. So I'm hoping he'll lobby you as his colleagues and bosses to guide him accordingly to help us control and retake our area for the traffic, the pedestrian hazards, the illegal parking in the right-of-ways, the perpendicular parking. There's a lot of stuff here that just isn't adding up, and no one seems to be doing anything except pointing a finger to another department that they don't have any authority because we're tied up in a lawsuit. So my question would be, when is this lawsuit coming to an end, and why does the Miller Brothers lawsuit affect the adjudication of 30-plus other violations that are outstanding now for 4 years? So I'm hoping that Scott Wilson will open a dialogue with the owners to maybe present this to the town as a willing seller so that we can buy it as the CPF, Community Preservation Fund, with the funds that are for this type of acquisition. And be reminded, in our area, you guys tore down Cox's fishing station. You tore down my grandparents' place across the street that ended up in Tony Lupo's control. 4 apartments, people were thrown in the street. Nobody seemed to care. But so we're hoping for a solution here, because it's the season, as they say, and we're hoping this doesn't continue without the town watching out for its constituents and putting this to an end with a stop work order effective immediately until they resolve their legals. And if anyone wants to get back to me in writing, I'd appreciate it, because we have no other alternative but to start seeking legal counsel because our elected officials are failing us. But anyway, thank you for your time. Hope you have a good evening.
Thank you, Martin.
All right. We have no other
Jason, is
callers.
there any- Okay, so we're going to move on to resolutions. Tom, if
Thank you,
could
Madam
start us off.
Supervisor. Yes, Resolution 2025-807. This is approval on claims on warrant, utility warrant 6A in the amount of $5,068,556.25 and $71,956.67.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
808 is a bid notice. This is for the supply and delivery of food items for July 2025. The bid is available June 12th, 2025, and the bid is June 26th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
809 is also notice to bidders, EH 25028. This is for supply and delivery food service and kitchenware items for July 2025. Bid is available June 12th, 2025, and due back June 26th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
810 is also a bids to notice. This is for a trommel for sanitation, EH 25030. The bid here is available for June 5th, 2025, and June back June 26th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
811, there will be an amendment to this, so please note. This is to accept bid number EH 25013 for a total cost of $1,953,000. This is to be split between 2 accounts, HA 81605201024084 in the amount of $1.235 million, and this is where the amendment comes. Fund line HA 816052001202. This should be in the amount of $718,000, not $71,800 is listed currently.
So that's in 2 places.
2 places, correct.
Second as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
812 is to authorize Eagle View Pictometry annual software license agreement for 2025 at a cost in the amount of $1,440 and $360.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is my complete pleasure to offer Resolution 2025-813. This is the scheduled public hearing for real property acquisition and amend the 2025 Management and Stewardship Plan for a property located 43 Mile Hill Road, East Hampton. The purported owner is 43 Mile Hill LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 300-72-1-2. This is for approximately 9.35 acres of vacant land. The proposed purchase price is $16 million. The public hearing will be held on July 3rd, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 814 is appoint additional members to the 2025 Water Quality Technical Advisory Committee and also revise the membership. Whereas Sarah Davidson is a qualified, willing, and able to serve in capacity on the Water Quality Technical Advisory Committee, and then Frank J. Cafiso has been nominated and recommended by the Village of Sag Harbor to serve as a representative for the village. Hereby see the following roster for the Water Quality Technical Advisory Committee for calendar year 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 8:15 is appoint seasonal labor in the Parks Department, Miller, Obato, Figueredo, at an hourly rate of $22, retroactive to June 2nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
8:16 is a notice of bidders for EH 25-022 for the Peach Farmhouse renovation. The bid is available on June 5th, 2025. The bid is due back July 10th, 2025. There will be a pre-bid meeting on Wednesday, June 18th at 11 a.m. at Town Hall. Any questions, please contact the town's purchasing department at 631-324-4183.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 8:17 is a notice of bidders for EH 25-021. This is for the second house road raising. The bids are available June 5th, 2025. The bid is due back July 10th, 2025. Any questions, please contact the purchasing department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2025-818 is reject bid EH 25-024. This is the mobile food concessions for select town beaches for 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
819 is a sub bid EH 25-019. This is for surplus oyster seed for 2025 to John Nicholas. And this is for the East Hampton Oyster Company and Adam Iorio for the Long Island Shellfish Company Incorporated for the amounts listed below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 820 is a set bid EH 25-014. This is for the Joint Fuel Facility Fuel Management System to Metro Environmental Services LLC, and hereby are accepted for the total cost of $80,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 821 is approved change order number 1 for the Stephen Hans Path multi-use facility for which was bid EH 24-049, and this is for shot clock, safety netting, flagpole, and outlets for CCTVs. In the total amount of $97,412.44.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 822 is a budget modification for the Highway Department, and this is for costs associated with the mowing of town-owned parcels. And this is taking from the budget line for drainage improvements in the amount of $65,000, bringing it to outside professional in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 823 is the retained DB Bennett Engineering for 20 Springs Fireplace Road. This is for the Office of Land Acquisition, is in need of engineers to evaluate certain existing structures for soundness and functionality. And the principal engineering rate is $185 an hour. Project engineer is $125 per hour, not to exceed $3,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 824 is the retained LK McLean Associates, DPC, for professional engineering services for the Sammy's Beach Breakwater. And this would be for costs from a proposal that was dated on May 20th, 2025, provide such services not to exceed $75,000 for the design services and $65,000 lump sum for the construction support services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 825 is retain professional engineering services for LK McLean PC Associates, DPC, for the renovations to suites 103, 105, 107 at 300 Pantago Place. And this is for a total amount not to exceed $78,800.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 826 is retain professional engineering services for LK McLean Associates, DPC, for the Stephen Hans Path pickleball courts. Yay. And this is for work not to exceed $46,500 for design permitting, bid assistance, and $24,500 for the construction support services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And 827 is to issue a check to the Army Corps of Engineers, for the Army Corps of Engineers Lake Montauk dredging, inlet dredging to K&D Appraisals Incorporated for 2024 charges. They have a payment to issue the payment for 2024 charges, the amount totaling $625 from the budget line appropriately here, and that the charges for 2025 charges are in the amount of $1,750 paid for by the budget line noted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 828, Water Quality RFA Grant Extension. This is for the 2021 round 1 for the Village of Sag Harbor. That was the project sponsor. The summary was engineering services for sewer shed L to increase their sewer services area to existing municipal sewer treatment plant. This is a wastewater treatment project. The funding award for this one was at $288,800, but there was an amendment of $82,335. And this is another another extension on there of 1 year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
829, it's a water quality RFA grant extension for 2024 for round one to the Peconic Baykeeper. This is for an Epic Harbor eelgrass restoration pilot. Yes, that is correct. The amount, the funding award was $38,060, and again, this is for a 1 year execution of grant extension.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
830 is a water quality RFA grant extension for 2023. This is for round one to the Cornell Cooperative Extension for the Hog Creek Phase 2, which is a phase 2 of a multi-phase project to reduce groundwater nitrogen inputs into Hog Creek utilizing permeable reactive barriers and microalgae bioextraction techniques. The funding award was $111,843. And again, this is actually an agreement for another 1 year extension.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
831 is a water quality grant extension for 2023. This is for round one to Cornell Cooperative Extension for the Springs General Store, PRB. This is a non-point source pollution abatement to reduce ammonia plume remediation with multi-phase permeable reactive barrier. The funding award at the time was $341,655. And again, this is for long-term monitoring. And it's again another extension of 1 more year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have resolution 832 to appoint temporary office assistant to the planning department. Resolved that Jocelyn Kali Chimbo be appointed to the position of temporary office assistant in the planning department at the hourly rate of $25.05. To be paid bi-weekly for a 90-day period beginning June 9th, 2025 through September 7th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 833, appoint Aaron Zilberman to seasonal environmental technician in the Natural Resources Department, whereas Aaron Zilberman was appointed to the part-time environmental aide in the Natural Resources Department on Resolution 2025-409. Resolved that Aaron is hereby appointed to a seasonal environmental technician in the Natural Resources Department, an hourly rate of $29.07, effective retroactive to May 28, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
834 is to promote and appoint Allison McDougall to Administrative Assistant 2 in the Building Department. Whereas Allison is currently an Administrative Assistant in the Building Department, let it be resolved that Allison McDougall is hereby promoted and appointed to the full-time position of Administrative Assistant 2 in the Building Department at an hourly rate of $41.31, grade 30, step 7, which is $85,920.43 annually.
Second.
All in
And
favor?
just, sorry, retroactive to June 2nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 835 is payout upon resignation for Joseph Palermo, whereas Joseph Palermo has resigned his full-time position as the Chief Building Inspector effective April 25th, 2025, and audited time records indicate that he has an accrued vacation time balance, an accrued sick time and personal time balance. Therefore, be it resolved that the Finance Department be authorized to cut a check through payroll for the appropriate budget account for a gross total of $66,813.47.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 836 is a budget modification to the Planning Department related to department overtime, and this is moving $4,000 from furnitures and fixtures to overtime in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 837 is a budget modification for the Architectural Review Board. This is to purchase necessary law books for the Architectural Review Board. So this is a decrease for outside professional in the amount of $1,000 and an increase in the same amount to office expense.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 838 is to release security in urban renewal parcel 32 in MN-3. And the applicant is Charles Weimer in Montauk, and the parcel is at 26 Fairlawn Drive, Montauk. And the security is in the amount of $9,300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 839, a resolution subject to permissive referendum to authorize sale of affordable housing at 82 Bow-Oarsman Road in East Hampton. The agreed upon price is $330,000, and pending closing, there's an interim license to the participant to occupy the premises in the amount of $2,538 per month.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 840, this is to adopt local law amending Chapter 255 taxation, or 225, I'm sorry, taxation of the East Hampton Town Code to add Article 9 exemption for East Hampton Volunteer Ocean Rescue and Auxiliary Squad.
Second.
Discussion, if you don't mind. I want to thank the county legislators and Welker and also the state assemblymen for their assistance and state senators on this then too. This is something for our volunteer emergency medical services and also technicians, and then also for this auxiliary squad. It's a little help, but it also shows that we believe we need these type of volunteers. So I appreciate everyone's effort, Ian, yours also on this too.
Yeah, and actually just to say a little more on that, I'd like to thank the assessor's office as well and Becky Hanson, the town administrator, for helping to make this happen as soon as it became possible.
Great. So I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 2025-841 is to schedule a public hearing for real property acquisition and amend the 2025 Management and Stewardship Plan. The purported owner is the Peconic Land Trust. The location is 41 and 47 Cove Hollow Farm Road in East Hampton Village. It's approximately 5.5 acres of vacant land. The proposed purchase price is $20 million. The village only wishes to contribute up to $10 million and asks the town to contribute the remaining $10 million for a total of $20 million. Although this request is beyond the scope of the intermunicipal agreement, the town board finds this to be a worthy enough project in partnership with Peconic Land Trust, who has leveraged $35 million from private donors for a full fee purchase price of $55 million. The conservation easement that the village and town are contemplating acquiring from Peconic Land Trust is subject to the ability to install a trail and up to 50 feet in width of off-street parking on the lots. The purpose of said acquisition is the preservation of open space and improvement of water quality. The public hearing is scheduled for July 3rd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion?
Okay.
I would just like to disclose that I'm a tenant from the Peconic Land Trust, a completely separate property, and just want to publicly disclose that. But I feel totally comfortable voting on this, but wanted to make it public disclosure.
Okay, so we have a second. Carol, can we have a roll call on this, please?
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-842 is a provisional appointment to full-time traffic control specialist from William McGuire. William McGuire is provisionally appointed to the full-time position of traffic control specialist with the Town of East Hampton Police Department with an annual salary of $56,339.71 for a 40-hour work week effective retroactive to May 28th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
843 is to promote and appoint Jason Sharon to Harbor Master 2 Supervisor in Marine Patrol. Jason Sharon is promoted and appointed to this position at the annual salary of $106,335.42 for a 40-hour work week effective retroactive to May 24th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
844 is to pay a NYMER deductible to Gary Jackson, who has filed a claim regarding damage to his vehicle in the amount of $855.10.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
845 is to adopt a town remote work policy. It is recognized that remote work is not suitable for every role. It can be a valuable tool in maintaining a flexible and responsive government. The intent of this policy is to offer structure and fairness while preserving the essential connection between public service and community engagement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
846 is to accept and adopt the 2024 Community Preservation Fund audit prepared by the auditing firm Cullen and Dankowski LLP.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
847 is to accept and adopt the 2024 Community Housing Fund audit prepared by the auditing firm Cullen and Dankowski LLP.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
848 is to release deposits. This is to Ronald Webb Builder. Bid was EH24-029 in the amount of $5,969.72.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
849 is to approve recognition of the United Public Service Employees Union. Employees of the town of East Hampton holding the civil service title of Harbor Master 1 on a part-time basis have expressed their wish to form a new collective bargaining unit with the United Public Service Employees Union as the exclusive representation of said bargaining unit. Upon the agreement, this shall be effective upon execution by the town supervisor and delivery to the UPSEU.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
850 is to amend the town of East Hampton's 401A special pay plan to include CSEA bargaining unit members, and that's effective June 6, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
851 is a budget modification for workmen's compensation for the Office of Housing and Community Development. They're decreasing longevity in the amount of $250 and increasing workers' comp in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
852 is a payout upon resignation for Jameson McWilliams. Jameson McWilliams resigned from her full-time position of Deputy Town Attorney with the Town Attorney's Office effective April 17, 2025, and audited time records indicate that she had accrued sick time, personal time, and compensatory time. Her gross total payout is $17,083.83.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
853 is a payout upon resignation for Robert Connolly. Robert Connolly resigned his full-time position as the town attorney effective April 25th, 2025, and audited time records indicate that he has an accrued vacation time and an accrued sick and personal time balance for a gross total of $21,048.32 as a final payout.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
854 is to accept bid EH24-023, electronic equipment replacement on Marine Patrol vessel, and that goes to Hampton Navigation, Inc. The total amount is $42,634.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have 2025-855. I'm delighted to announce the promotion provisional appointment to Fire Marshal 2 of Alexander Erico at the hourly rate of $41.28, which is grade 29 off step, which is equivalent to $85,867 annually for a 40-hour work week. This is retroactive to April 28, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
856 is to authorize payment for videotaping of the Artists in Paradise panel discussion on June 12, 2025 for Frank Vespi in the amount of $300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
857 is to appoint seasonal lifeguards to the Recreation Department for June 2025, retroactive to June 1st, 2025. Names, position, hourly rates listed below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 858 is appoint seasonal employee in the Parks Department, June 25, retroactive to June 1st, 2025. Juan Martinez for groundskeeper 1 at hourly rate of $22 per hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 859 is to accept donation of services between the town and Climbers Tree Care Specialists for assistance in the town's road right-of-way at 11 U Street. The town's highway department supports the donation of services for the restoration of this. The generous amount of services is valued about $18,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have Resolution 2025-860, and that's a notice of public hearing and schedule a public hearing for the Northwest Fire Protection and Town of East Hampton Water Supply and Fire Protection District Agreement, and that's for the years 2026 and 2027. The public hearing will be held on Thursday, July 3rd at 6 p.m. The services for the 12-month period of 2026 totals $3,877,196.04, and for the 12-month period of 2027 totals $3,993,511.93.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
861 is to authorize payment of prior year invoice for the town attorney's office. This is for Robert J. Ponzi, and this is in the amount of $4,150.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So those are all the resolution. Oh, you had a walk-on.
Yes, I have an additional resolution as I offer as a walk-on. It's Resolution ID 33005. And this is, be it resolved that a public hearing is hereby scheduled to be held on a proposed local law amending Chapter 255 zoning of the East Hampton Town Code, and in order to amend the following sections: 255-141E1, personal wireless facilities, Tier 1, as more fully set forth in the text below. The hearing will be held on July 3rd, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have any other business they need to bring up?
No.
Do I have a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?